Hello and welcome to the Weekender. Yes. 2 in a row.
2 in a row you're in, Lloyd. This is I think this is a record, isn't it?
Yes.
Other than turn 8, where you used to appear regularly with your headphones on, we finally have.
Yeah, being what, 5 seconds behind everybody else, if I remember right?
Yes, yes. Turn 8, the live show. Lloyd, it's edited on the fly by Lloyd, so he would often sit there with the screen in front of him, and then as we're talking, he's there as well, interacting. But the problem is,
this will help people if I sit like this.
Yeah, they'll remember you now. Yeah, so he'd sit, but the difficulty is the audio from ourselves. By the time it went through all the systems, it came out of Lloyd's headphones a few seconds later.
It's okay, guys. We said this about 6 months ago when I was last on the week. Well, not last, because obviously last week I was on the Weekender.
Yeah.
But about 6 months ago, I was on the Weekender.
Well, this is for anybody that's new, then. So, and they wouldn't even know who the hell you were. Anyway, of course, I'm Warren. This is Justine, and that's Brother Lloyd.
Hello.
You really have to use the female version of my name every time.
But it rolls off the tongue.
Goddamn.
It just does. We've got a jam-packed show. Loads I want to talk about, and I want to kick off with some news about J.J. Abrams.
Yes.
Yeah, so a wee bit of movie news.
Mr. Abrams is going to build new green rooms in his Bad Robot studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Do you know the way they said everything's going to be filmed in England?
Yes, which it should be. This is for Star Wars we're talking about.
Yes, this is for Star Wars.
Okay.
As it should be, because the others were shot in England.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would think, it should in England.
Except for the desert scenes, which were shot in Tunisia.
Okay, well, except for the desert scenes.
The ones that they couldn't build a set for.
Yeah.
Well, they did build a set, but they built it in the desert.
No, what I mean is easily build a desert set in England.
Anyway, we digress.
Yes,
we digress. Yeah, so
it's interesting. What he's doing is he's building brand new green rooms in his studio, Bad Robot, right? Now, the word online is basically, it's because he doesn't want to leave the country.
Yeah.
Right? So, people are moaning about it, but they're saying, but we hope it's not going to be all green screen shoot.
Like the prequels.
Others. Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's Star Wars. How else do you create that world?
By paying the money to get really good set builders and actually build the sets?
Let's be honest, how many shows do you see these days that don't use full-on CG?
Even then, they're going to extend the sets with green screen and stuff.
Yeah, but that's different. The extending... Right, here's my problem. I'm not a massive fan of movies that overuse green screens, okay? Because, in the prequels for Star Wars, there are scenes where it's just so clear that it's all
just
virtual.
Really fake.
Yeah, and I don't like it. I really don't like it.
What about the first lightsaber? Well, I say the first. The lightsaber fight scene, right?
Yeah.
In the
Phantom Menace.
Yes, the Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was all green screened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they've got brilliant reflections and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. To be fair, I think the bigger point here is the fact that is it Pinewood that they do all this? I think it was Pinewood Studios. I think the bigger issue in this is I was kind of hoping that it would all be filmed here in the UK. It's I haven't got this America UK thing, but it would be great for the film industry in the UK if it had all been done here. And I think that's probably a bigger concern than the actual volume of green screen stuff that's in it. But I'm not a fan of it.
Well, I had a little think about this, and I was thinking to myself, right, maybe this opinion online is right. He just doesn't want to leave the States to do it.
Which I could understand. Maybe he's afraid of flying like I am.
Maybe he is. Maybe. But then I thought, okay, well, if that is the case, you're probably better to let him build a facility where he's comfortable and he makes a good job of it than to push him out of his comfort zone. He's sitting there going, I hate this place.
Yeah,
I want to
he's
go
sitting
home.
trying to stress,
and
trying to do the job.
He's sitting thinking, we're 3 scenes in. Oh.
I'm not sure. Because I think there's merit to pushing directors out of their comfort zone. Now, the story I'm about to tell you is not the same thing by any stretch of the imagination. But Ron Howard of...
Is that Ron Weasley's dad?
No, it's of Happy Days.
All right, okay.
Okay. Ron Howard of Happy Days.
The Fonz.
The Fonz is a little mate that never really did anything.
Oh, I know, yes,
He's a director now.
Yes,
okay?
I know the one.
A really good director. But he is just, he's just about to launch the Formula One movie with Niki Lauda and
The Rush.
yeah,
Yeah,
Hunt.
the two
James
guys.
Hunt. Yeah,
battling
Thor.
it out, yeah.
Isn't that Thor?
it's Thor.
Thor
yeah.
in F1 car.
No, it's
That guy's in everything.
Well, it's a fabulous story, and if you don't know, and the chances are, if you're in America, you probably don't know the story of the mad competition between Niki Lauda and James Hunt. James Hunt was like the ultimate playboy of Formula One. This guy rocked. I mean, he just was hilariously over the top with the women and the drink and everything. Total party boy, but unbelievable on track.
Think
Niki Lauda.
Think shake and bake.
Shake and bake. Yeah. Niki Lauda was even more clinical than the likes of Schumacher or Alan Prost, who was known as the Doctor. Okay.
I wish I was sitting over there now watching Justin Glaze over it.
It's just about me going, what?
Right.
F1,
So-
where are the crashes?
So, right, there is a crash.
Oh, okay.
Niki Lauda gets horrifically burned, and it burns off his ear and the side of his face and
You
stuff
see,
like
this
that.
is based in a time period where, was it 2 drivers a year would be killed or something?
Yes, yeah.
Horrific
Like, I mean,
crashes.
it was horrific back in the 70s.
Okay.
And, you know, if you had cars side by side going into a corner and there was a crash, people died.
Okay.
Just people died. So Niki Lauda, during this massive competition between the two for the World Championship, ended up in a horrific crash.
Right, so he was all kinds of lucky.
And ended up in fire, right? The championship went on without him, and he came back something like 4 weeks later in bandages and put the
Okay.
helmet on to compete again, and was suffering fear and stuff like that in the car, but continued to compete. And the competition, the season came down to the very last race
What, between him and this other guy?
between him and James Hunt.
Right.
And they were incredible kind of competitors, but also had huge respect for each other. But right, so there's in a nutshell. The story is fabulous. I hear the movie's great, but Ron Howard.
Wait for it, folks. This is where it swings back around
This is
onto
where
the
it
topic.
swings back round. Ron Howard and
Right, does Ron Howard have nanofactories?
oh, give over. Ron Howard and his either his director or producer or whatever knew nothing about Formula One.
Right.
And just went completely out of their comfort zone to actually make the movie. Now I know that that's different from being out of your comfort zone and wanting to go home, but I think that for directors and the people that make movies, being out of their comfort zone somehow may make them more switched on to the actual movie that they're doing. The interesting thing about J.J. Abrams, if I can expand on this, is obviously he's known for the 2 Star Trek movies, the 2 most recent ones, which
Yeah, absolutely fabulous.
I'm a huge, huge fan of. I grew up with Star Trek. I love Star Trek, and obviously my talk of the nano factories, anybody out there is going to know I'm a lefty at heart. I'm a real kind of, I aim for the utopian society, but I'm such a huge fan of the new Star Trek movies, and he ain't going to do the 3rd one. He's passed it on, so...
That's the upshot of him going off to do Star Wars. Is
Yeah.
he's not going to be the director of Star Trek 3.
No,
Well-
he's leaving that.
He's going to be
So-
the producer.
Yeah, he's still involved, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same
so
thing.
he doesn't
So
have the
probably-
hand on the wheel, as it were.
Yeah, we're not going to see as many lens flares, maybe. So, yeah, it's interesting, and and I cannot wait. I really, really cannot wait. We're in such good times at the moment in terms of movies. It's been so for a long time, and now we've been getting some really good movies, and the sci-fi movies that we're getting now. I'm so excited about the Star Wars movies.
It's not even just sci-fi. I mean, like, I'm really looking forward to R.I.P.D. that's coming out with Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges. That's going to be funny as hell.
Yeah, R.I.P.D. That's the guys that are going after all the dead guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, not this weekend, but pretty much next weekend in the UK.
Yeah.
20th.
Yeah. I cannot
So-
wait to see it.
That looks like a lot of fun. That looks like a lot of fun. So they're police officers that are basically, they're dead police
The
officers.
greatest lawmen that ever lived and died, hunting down dead souls, evil souls who escaped heaven.
Yeah.
What more could you want?
Yeah. So on the topic of Star Trek, we're doing the game of the weekend, and I'll be bringing out the game of the weekend. But Stu has been sitting me down and showing me through a crazy big Star Trek game. I think it's Star Trek Fleet Captains, I think it's called, or something like that.
I'll hunt it down. Don't worry.
And what it is?
See, there's going to be a connection to tabletop somewhere in there.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it right. It's Star
Little
Trek
segue.
Fleet Captains. I am dying to get on to one of the future weekenders where we'll run it as game for the weekend because it just looks fabulous. You are in charge of a fleet.
Yeah, so you're either the Romulans, the Federation, or the Klingons.
I think you mean Klingons, yeah, and there may be another one. I'm not sure, but you know, so you can have Catherine Janeway, and you could have Jean-Luc Picard and stuff like that there. So you actually get to control the fleet. And you travel across the galaxy and stuff like that there, and different hex zones.
Always going forward.
Never in reverse. So different hex zones have different lengths of time that you travel across them. So you could go through a nebula that might take you an awful long time to get across this nebula.
Yeah,
and stuff
really
like that
dense,
there.
really big, even though it's only one hex.
So I can't wait. I haven't played it yet, but Stu has been teasing the life out of me by showing me this game. I'm just such a Trekkie at heart. I can't.
I was a Voyager fan.
Wait. Another thing is we discovered today was that Justine has never seen Star Wars Trips.
Yeah.
It never. Do you know? It's a classic, guys. We're going to play you a clip.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Sheriff John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do? Yeah, you bad boys, what you gonna do, what you gonna do when they come for you? Nobody now give you no break. Police now give you no break. That old soldier man now give you no break. Not even your eyes now give you no breaks. Well, hey, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Troops is filmed on location with the men of the Imperial Forces. All suspects are guilty, period. Otherwise, they wouldn't be suspects, would they?
So Justin had never actually seen that, and I'm not sure if you've ever seen it either. But it's really, really old. But
it was kind of that moment of me going, "What the hell is going on here?"
If you want to watch,
and then going, "Ah."
If you want to watch the rest of it, just click this wee screen.
Yeah, we're going to rescreen up so you can click. It is fabulous. So, and it's it's all about. I love those little fan movies.
That's my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
That fan movie wise, made in 1997.
Right.
How old is that? 1997. But
16 years?
15 years.
Well, I didn't really want
we're
to
20, 30, oh, yeah.
I didn't really expect it to do maths. I was just emphasizing that it's old.
It is old. It's that
And
old.
it looks brilliant.
It still holds up.
Go and watch it, and you'll see the little speeders and stuff flying behind him when he's driving along, looking like he's a cop of the universe.
Jawa getting shot in the back.
Yeah.
It's great.
So anyway, so Justin, this is his first view of that.
It was great. I laughed my head off.
If you can help us continue his education, if you have favourite fan movies, fan flicks, embed them below. Tell us about them because
there's actually one I'm going to have to show you.
Yeah.
It's a Star Wars fan movie in Spanish.
Yep.
I think it was found a few years ago. I'll hunt it down again. But it's following a group of Jedi going onto an abandoned ship and everybody going crazy and dying and stuff. So I'll find that for you. And I'll see if you like it.
But if you guys at home could actually put good ones in the
No, this was actually really well done.
What are you on? I'm
really
going to
well
talk
done.
about a movie. I've got a fan movie that I like. Oh, yeah, this sounds interesting. It's in Spanish.
It's in Spanish.
What?
I'll have to go and get Carlos and Gutier from Corpus Belli to come and sit with me.
It's subtitled.
Oh, is it subtitled?
Yes, it's subtitled.
All right, that's okay.
Man, do I look like I speak Spanish?
Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder about you. So we have Star Wars movies and Star Trek movies on the way, which is great because it can only mean one thing: more tabletop action. And I would not be surprised if this next tranche of Star Wars movies, which are set after the originals, really expand upon all the ships and stuff like that. So hopefully they're not too far into the future.
Star Wars is always lacking in the tabletop department.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm sorry, X-Wing.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. X-Wing
Right.
is absolutely brilliant.
I can name
it's
it.
fabulous.
I
Yep.
can name it pretty much in 2 goes. X-wing
Yeah.
and Night Models. Isn't it Night Models that do
Yeah.
that?
Night Models
But
is
it's not a game.
Yeah, it's just
collector's
miniatures.
pieces,
And
yeah.
then there's a sporadic, you know, there's a little bit of this and there's a little bit of that.
Star Wars LCG.
It's card
That's
games,
not card
not
game.
miniatures.
Still a game.
Yeah,
Yes.
but he's talking about miniatures.
Okay, fair enough.
Obviously, Wizards
They
of the
do
Coast.
exist,
Yeah,
but
Wizards of the Coast did.
there isn't one go-to range or anything.
I
Oh
will
dear.
go offset.
Warren's going off the reservation.
There was the Star Wars miniatures thing from Wizards of
With
the
your
Coast.
close cams behind you.
Yeah, absolutely, actually. So I can show you.
Um,
That was the Battle for Hoth pack there.
Yeah, I think there's meant to be a snow speeder in that or something.
Yeah, here's a snow speeder there. So let me
Alright.
just bring the snow speeder in.
Yeah.
There.
That way.
There's a little snow speeder that's in it.
That's actually really cool.
It's really cool. It's actually, I think it's better scaled to my toy I've had. So I want to try and get a bunch of these and do a Battle of Hoth with those versus my toy hat. So
Yeah.
that would be great.
Where is this? Where's the sweet spot for the camera gone?
There.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you get Darth Vader, Princess Leia.
well, you
few
get
others
little
in there.
miniatures, but the thing is, they're all pre-paints. They're the typical kind of.
And this is Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do they still do this? Or
Nope.
is-
It doesn't exist anymore. So.
Discontinued.
Yep.
So
this
my point stands.
Your point stands. It's been there. I don't think it was a particularly good game if it had a game at all. It was it was just collectible type stuff.
Yeah.
So other than X-wing, but I want to see an actual tabletop combat game. So
Yeah, so you want to see troops, you want to see walkers, all being used, and not just space battle stuff.
Do you want it 15 mil?
It could work in 15
I
mil.
think it would work at 15 mil. Now, as I've said on a couple of previous shows that I've been in, I was really not a fan of 15 mil. But like many people out there, and you're probably thinking, oh, 15 mil, I wasn't a fan of 15 mil until I actually
Played 15 mil.
played it a couple times and got into it. Now I'm a huge fan of 15 mil.
Well, mate,
because you just get to do so much more. It lifts the restrictions. It feels it feels great.
Well, the one that dropped me to smaller scale was Drop Zone Commander.
Yes,
And
that's 10 mil.
Yeah, whenever I started playing that, you had such more of a cinematic view of what was going on around the board. You know, the best way I can describe a game that scale is basically, say, playing Command and Conquer or something.
Well,
on the tabletop.
imagine Star Wars looking like Drop Zone Commander in detail. That's Orgasma time.
Orgasmic time. Do I have to beep that?
No,
That's fine.
Orgasma time is fine.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on
Yep.
to the subject of pre-paints. Golem Arcana. I had mentioned it in the last show.
Yep. I assume we have some more details of it now.
Yes, we do. We've been kind of reaching out. We're trying to find out a bit more about it. So basically, what it is, we'll have some screens and stuff up. It's a new game that they're trying to launch via Kickstarter. It's by Harebrained Schemes, I think.
Yeah,
It's-
Harebrained
I think
Schemes.
Harebrained
That's the one.
Schemes.
The guys behind Shadowrun,
Shadowrun.
All right.
which is a video game, but now they're taking a little core team away from the video game. They're still working on it as far as I'm aware, but then they've carved off a little unit to go and specialize in this.
And what it is it's
It's a hybrid.
yeah. I want to choose my words carefully here. They're looking at a kind of video game tabletop game crossover.
Yeah. So
But it's a board game, okay? So it's not a tabletop war game per se. It is a board game, and what you have is you have a stylus, okay? And that stylus actually
reads microdots.
it reads microdots. It uses an infrared technology to read microdots. So basically, what you're doing is you would have it on an iPad or a PC or whatever the game, and your stylus communicates wirelessly,
Via Bluetooth.
but via Bluetooth.
I watched the video.
Okay. Basically, if I'm interacting with the actual board game, all I have to do is just touch the miniature, touch the base of the miniature, touch the terrain tile that the miniature's on.
Yes.
And it's these massive golems that are just unreal.
Your board's laid out in a grid, so you have that grid type movement, which is why I think you say it's not a war game.
No, it's a board game, and that's why I'm looking at it saying that's smart. I see the interaction between computers and tabletop working best to begin with in the board game sphere. I think it'll be very difficult to pull it off in the war game sphere, as we saw with Exilis all those years back.
Yeah.
But this time that they've realized, well, actually, no, this is a board game.
Well, this does share some DNA with Exilis.
Yeah.
In so much as Exilis was tile based.
Yep.
It had a PC section, a computer.
It had
a
iPad
computer
as
side
well.
to
It
it.
worked
Yeah.
on
Right.
tablets.
Basically an
But-
input system to a computer.
But there was nothing really to tie your board to the actual app.
Yeah, it didn't connect. You had to manually
Yes, exactly.
explain to it what was happening.
This is the point that really broke it,
Yeah,
right? Because Exilis could not connect directly to the board.
yeah.
Therefore, you would fiddle around with the PC and you start thinking to yourself,
Why am I even
why do I
bothered?
need the
Yeah.
board? Whereas this has connected the two with a physical device that
just-
allows you to interact.
And you can have two of these pen type things. Now, the minis. Let's talk about the minis. The minis are going to be pre-paints, which for a board game's great.
Yeah.
You know, for a board game's great. Don't remember the whole idea of this game. This is a crossover game. A lot of us are kind of, I don't want to use the word hardcore hobbyist, but I think you'll understand what I mean by that. But remember that the whole reason behind this is to expand the hobby. They're not maybe looking at it from that point of view. They're looking at it from the point of view of, hey, this would be a great game. It'll sell tons and we're going to make a load of money. But from my perspective, I'm looking at it going, the decisions in this are actually quite smart. Because if you're going to the hassle of creating a system where they can just interact with it, plink, 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 plink.
Yeah, where they're not having to crunch numbers inside their own head just yet.
So if they're not at the stage where if you're aiming for people that don't want to do that in the first place, you're probably aiming for people that don't really want to be clipping together models yet. Certainly don't want to be having to work out how to prime them and paint them yet. But they'll get the bug. Not all of them, but a good proportion of them will get the bug.
Yeah, they go, wait a minute, this is cool. And there's other games similar?
And then they'll become one of us.
Yeah.
But there is a fine balancing act to it. I mean, there is a fine balancing act between what the app does and what you do in the real world environment, which completely got lost by Exilis.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, Exilis, you didn't roll any dice or anything.
Yeah,
No.
well, I mean, like, this one you have the option.
Yes,
So you
they've
can
given you
roll
the
physical
option. You
dice,
can roll
or
dice,
you
yeah.
can tell it, roll them for you.
Yeah.
So as long as, if they can make it, that it doesn't ruin, it doesn't take away the fact that you are interacting in the real world, and they're getting close to it because they've got their stylus that connects it to the real world. You can roll dice for real.
Yeah, it gives you that
connects
physical
it
hand of God.
to the real world. You know, you're moving miniatures around from
Yeah, you're
from tile
seeing
to tile.
you're
whereas
seeing
in
your terrain and
Exilis-
stuff, which
Whereas Exilis, you were moving whole units that didn't really feel right. It works better on this level they've gone for with the individual characters moving
Now these,
around.
Now here's the thing. I really, really would like to see these guys succeed, but they're looking for an enormous amount of money, $500,000.
Half a bar.
Okay. However,
They're doing well though. They've got off to a good start.
they're what, $150,000 already in like 1-2 days, so they're bang. And I think they'll make it. I think they'll make it. I really hope they do. And it's a little bit selfish of me, but it's not necessarily for this game. But I love the technology. Imagine a dungeon crawler.
where
Okay,
you're doing that. Yeah, that could be
where
cool.
you're touching the miniatures and touching the dungeon tiles, and it's bringing up all the stuff on the screen and telling you what
right.
monsters and stuff appear. and
What
you
that's
put them
going to
down.
kill is the old problem I used to have with my old D&D group, which was people sitting there trying to crunch the numbers. You know, simple addition mathematics, and them not being able to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, basically
What's
role
6/7?
playing for idiots. 6/7?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, there we go.
No, I've never completed. I've never claimed to be good at math.
No.
But
I'm
that's
only playing.
multiplication,
I'm
not
only playing.
addition.
Yeah, I know. I'm only playing.
But Golem Arcana is really doing some interesting things.
Yeah.
Right? The way I see this is if you're going to go down this route of apps and stuff, then you take it to places where it's been very hard to take wargaming or tabletop gaming, board gaming, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're doing that with the likes of this mana, right? So, for example, I have 3 guys on the table and you have 3 guys.
Yeah.
Okay? You kill one of mine. You're 3 up. you've got 3 against 2 now.
Yeah.
Who's going to win? Probably you. But as soon as you kill one of my guys, I get mana.
Yep.
I get a bunch of mana back. I think of it as just like, I don't know, a spirit or something being released, and I reclaim that power, which
Yeah.
allows me to unlock
Mana,
abilities.
I believe, is food of the gods, is effectively mana.
So abilities getting unlocked.
Yeah, so it's
Right.
basically, he's down, but now I can power up the other 2. Hacha!
Well, what it gives...
And just before we move off, right? So you can then use this mana for casting spells and things like that, right? So that changes the game up,
Yeah.
right? But the other thing is, they've introduced that each slot has an amount of mana in it,
Yeah.
and as you stay in it, you rack up mana, but it runs out. So if you stay in one slot and don't move around,
Yeah.
Alright,
run-
so
you
there's
run out of-
essentially a mana pool in the squares.
yes, you run out of mana, and your opponent who doesn't turtle will have all this mana and kick the crap out of you.
Yeah.
So that's
It's-
cool too.
It's
But-
another
but-
resource management thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
very
would be
cool.
really
But
that would be
this is what
hard.
it brings. This is what it would be really difficult to track that in a wargame, and that was one of the amazing things about Exilis. Exilis did 2 things. Firstly, it allowed you to play with stats and stuff that it would have taken you a week to try and calculate it all out.
Yeah,
okay?
did they not do a paper version after the servers?
They,
shut
they,
but-
down?
they did try.
But they hit all the stats. On this, you can see all the stats if you
Yeah,
wish.
you see your bonuses, your modifiers and stuff.
But the
coming
other
up.
thing that it did with Exilis was it gave you a persistent world, so your actual units and things like that developed. 2 really good ideas, and 2 ideas that were talked about by the Gates of Antares guys as well. They were talking about the persistent world. But where this leads us to, and the 40k players are going to love this, is if this works, if this technology crossover starts to really get nailed, and it will, there's no doubt about it, it will, it's only a matter of time, you are looking at Dawn of War on the tabletop with proper tech trees, that your units start out at a particular level, and as they're playing through, they're
Yeah,
buffing
basically,
up.
that's
you're
it.
reading it, and this guy is suddenly a lot better than he was.
That's
Yeah.
what PCs are good at. They're good at managing assets and tech trees and stuff like that. That's what really interests me about the game is the dynamics of the game changing
Yeah.
as you play it.
You see,
So-
for squad-based skirmish games, I can see that working. Big battle games, maybe not. You know,
No, but
not right away. I would
it-
say you'll see
it's-
that start in skirmish-based games.
Yes,
So things like Infinity.
But in big battle games, maybe you're just thinking from the point of view of it would be hard for them to do, not hard to play.
No, I'm thinking your opponent looking at it. You know,
This also
I've built a basic squad there.
Yeah.
By the way, they're absolutely amazing. You can't tell this because it's all on the computer.
no,
You
no,
know,
but
you
it
both have
allows.
access. You see the stats.
I think that works better, right? Because what you see is what you get. It's a pain in the ass.
It is.
I have to model a new guy so you know what gun he has. I hate it. Stop it. I don't want to spend all my life modeling guys I just want to play.
Yeah.
Right? I can put down my unit, change the micro dots about a bit or something like that, and you want to know what's in my unit? Click. Oh, you've got the power. I believe you. You've got plasma rifles and
I
stuff like
suppose
this.
It takes
You
all
can't
that
cheat.
away, but
You can't cheat, and it allows you to play a very different kind of game. I'm not suggesting that it would replace the games that we're playing today, but what I'm suggesting is it'll be
An
a
enhancement.
beautiful alternative, a beautiful enhancement to be able to play something where you introduce resource management, you introduce tech trees that are growing on the fly. You know, it's
Save games.
I
Yeah.
think for the first while that should be squad-based skirmish, just so it doesn't get too heavy too quick for people to try and keep up with.
in the first instance, it's a board game called Golem Arcana.
All right.
Now, the other thing about Golem Arcana, which got me going, why, was on the Kickstarter, they have this diagram, okay? And the humans in the game are 15 mil, and then it goes up through the different golems to a colossal size
Wow, a
golems.
gigantic golem.
Oh, big brutes of
So
things.
I think I'll point out at this point that the guy behind this is the guy behind BattleTech.
Yes.
All
Right, so they're not new to board games. When I said they're working on a video game, don't think, oh, it's a video game company trying to be a board game company. He knows about tabletop gaming as well, the guy in charge.
Well, actually, I've been lucky enough to have a chat with a video game company recently. Well, more on that over the next week or two. Because one of the things that I want to explore, and I'm glad you brought it up, is you will be amazed how many video game designers
Are wargamers?
are massive tabletop guys. massive, massive tabletop guys. I know of one studio, which we'll be talking about again soon.
In future, yeah.
They make video games, but their entire studio is completely filled with tabletop games, and the rest of the time they're all playing it.
Well, I mean, it reminds me of a question I put to the guys that created War Machine Tactics.
Yeah.
You know, they did a live chat a while back while the Kickstarter was running. I dropped into it for a couple of seconds and asked one question, and I was really surprised at the answer. Well, not surprised, but heartened by it, you might say.
Tell us the question, Justin.
I asked them how important they thought it was for the people working on it to have a grounding within the world and actually enjoy playing the games themselves.
Yeah.
Turned out every last one of them that were working on it played War Machine.
I would like to think that's the case.
No, but
but you know, then that brings me back to the Ron Howard didn't know anything about Formula One. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I understand.
I think it does help whenever people have a grounding in it.
Yeah. So Golem Arcana, definitely one worth taking a look at.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of stuff I'm working through.
Yeah.
Right. Another piece of news that's broke is that Kingdom Death plastics are being delayed.
Yeah,
Okay.
2014.
Now, they were due in the final quarter of this year.
Yep.
They're more likely. Now they've stated that they're going to appear in the first quarter of next year, first quarter of 2014. I'd say they probably will, but you know they might slip again. And it's down to, I'm not surprised by this. It's down to Adam's complete
Quality.
Yes.
Need for purest quality.
Adam puts the owner and the man behind Kingdom Death has this, you know, he has this incredible passion for quality.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen this, and we've interacted with Adam over the years while he was building Kingdom Death. Mm-hmm. And we've seen it a lot where he's delayed things, like the actual board game Monster. I'd first learned about that 2 years before it even went to Kickstarter.
Yeah.
He'd been working on that, and he's just spent so much time on it. And a couple of times I said to him, you know, why don't you run with it? And he said, no, because I want to make sure it's right. You know, I want it to be the right product. So he's put out an update.
There's a double-edged sword to this, though.
Yeah.
On the one hand, I think he's right to delay it,
Yeah.
right? Rather than go, crap, I've ran out of time.
I'll errata that later online.
Because you missed the opportunity at that point to make it all it could be. Right? But I've been reading some of the comments, and one of the comments was suggesting, yes, but don't make it one of those labours of love that never really
Goes anywhere?
that never lives up to the hype because you kept it going and going and
Correct.
going and
It becomes a vanity project.
Yes, a vanity project.
Yeah, I understand that, but
But I think he's right.
I think he's right, because you know, this is not some guy who's never delivered anything before.
No,
everything Adam's ever delivered.
We've seen him do beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Yeah, everything he has ever delivered has been top quality. So I have, whenever I saw it, you know, obviously a Kickstarter comes out and says, oh, everything, it's going to be delayed. And I, like anybody else, would immediately say, oh, I wonder what's causing that. But in this case, no, because I know Adam, and you know, I know how passionate he is about quality. And you know, I look at it and I think to myself, yeah, I completely understand where he's at. He has never, ever put out anything that's been substandard. I don't expect this to be substandard, and I'm not surprised in the slightest by him taking the decision to say, I'm not happy with it. I'm going to continue working on it.
Well, he's doing things like painting his miniatures that are coming back, the prototypes and stuff.
Yeah.
So as he can then go back to China and say, well, this is what we need to change.
Yeah.
You need to make this crisper and this detail crisper.
Yeah, I mean, like, fine, he has done some miniatures that make you jump back a little bit from them, but even those are top-notch quality.
Yeah, they're brilliant. So it's I'm looking forward to seeing it. We're probably going to start reaching out to Adam shortly to try and see if we can start to get an idea through it. The best thing about his update is he put up a pile of artwork and a pile of photographs of the actual minis and things like that there. So there are test sprues and things like that. And I think they look great.
They do look
I think
good.
they look great.
Yeah, they look great.
So
some of them are really complicated.
Yeah.
it's disappointing. If you were a backer and you were looking forward to playing that this Christmas, yeah, I know that's
I
disappointing.
still think it'll be worth the wait.
I think so too. But I think it's equally disappointing for Adam, because no doubt he wanted to get that into the hands of backers.
Well,
now,
he said it himself.
so as he could get in for the holiday season and get more sales.
He said that
so.
himself on his Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So not only is he delaying it to try and make it as good as it possibly can be, but he didn't take the decision of going, screw it, fire it out there, I want to make loads more money.
Yeah.
So, so you won't have Monster to play this year.
Yeah.
However, Game of the Weekend.
Well, before that, we have a prize to give away.
Okay.
We were giving away the Prime Axiom in last week's What's in the Box.
Yes, which I
Axiom
I decided to call the Axiom priming on the table.
Yeah, somehow. Yeah, I was watching it, I just went, okay. Oh, well.
You know, do you know what?
Yeah.
It was...
Next, as long as you didn't say, and we're giving away Optimus Prime!
Optimus Prime, yeah. It was a little bit of the Roman in me. You know? I decided to speak in one of the European...
fart?
No, one of the European languages, because in the European languages, they talk backwards.
They do. Like,
So-
I suppose
every
it's like
day,
German.
every day, I don't get a packed lunch. I get a lunch pack.
Yeah.
Or, what is it? Yeah, a lunch pack.
This is the love of Lloyd's life.
Yes.
She gives you a lunch pack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Sounds a bit dirty.
yeah, she admires his lunch pack, is what she said. Anyway, who won Axiom Prime?
Yeah, Mr. Tukey on Beasts of War has won it.
Mr.
So,
Tukey!
Congratulations, man. Drop in a prize claim and we'll see about getting it out to you so you get an early Christmas present.
Yeah, happy days, mate. Happy days. What a fabulous model.
Yeah.
And remember, it's not only the Axiom Prime that you get.
No?
He gets the blue crystals as well.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
So don't forget the blue crystals. So
Yep.
get in touch. Anyway, right.
Game of the week.
Halloween.
Yep.
Halloween is just around the corner. I say it's just around the corner. Okay, it's 6 weeks away.
Well, it feels like it because the weather has turned shit.
Yeah, a little bit.
It has. It feels like it's just around the corner. I am a huge, huge fan of Halloween. I cannot tell you how much I love Halloween. And the excitement is already building for me for Halloween. This Halloween is going to be very, very special for me for a number of reasons. Some will become clear over the next few weeks on the run up to it. But me and this man here have had some of the best memories I have, Lloyd, of the Halloweens that we've spent together. And I remember as teenagers, we had a very, very good friend of mine from school, and we used to get together at Halloween and we would watch zombie movies. Okay, and zombie movies were one of the staples of our teenage Halloween lives, where we would go down to town with our pocket money and we would buy the most horrendously E-numbered charged bags of sweets, sugary drinks, everything. Sit down.
Or my personal favourite, the 2-litre cider bottle that you weren't supposed to have.
It wasn't cider, it was Sedona.
Oh,
so
Sedona.
it was like a...
So what, cheap knockoff cider?
Yeah, it wasn't...
It's like cider for kids.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
a
cider
shandy.
for kids. Yeah, so it's...
It's like Shandy Bass.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So it was a really sweet, sugary apple drink. And we used to get those and laces and all sorts of stuff, right? But we would sit and watch the most ridiculously stupid zombie movies. Like The TV Dead.
The TV Dead.
Oh, The TV Dead. Was it the one that had the zombie in the wedding dress or something?
Yeah.
It was the zombies came out of the TV and
Okay,
stuff. It was-
okay. So, in other words, every zombie B movie you could lay hands on.
Yes.
And then we watched some movies with like tiny little zombies and stuff. It wasn't good enough that it'd be normal zombies. It had to be like abnormally small zombies and all
See,
sorts of
this is why I'm
stuff.
glad I grew up when I did, because there were at least decent zombies movies coming out whenever I was growing up.
My favorite zombie quote of all time: "Get the goddamn screwdriver out of my head." So yeah, I
talking
know.
zombie? Talking redneck zombie?
Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, it tastes like chicken.
So we've grown up with zombies, okay? So to start the preparation towards Halloween,
Yep.
and to help you guys do it again, I was going to save this game of the weekend for later, but then I thought, no, I want to show you because you can go out and get it yourselves.
And have it ready.
It's a classic. It's from 2001. It's called Zombies, baby. This is a fabulous little game. It's so easy to play. It's a lot of fun. It's the George Romero slow zombies. It's not this newfangled 28-day later rage type thing.
Yeah, the fast zombie, adrenaline zombie type thing.
No, this is the proper slow zombies where you die because you ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So in other words, you were the two teenagers who went upstairs away from everybody else for a bit of canoodling, came back, and all your friends are zombies.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. And zombies were pouring in through the windows and everything else.
What?
All because of a barrel of toxic waste that fell off the back of a US Army truck.
Right.
Which is another classic scene from a zombie movie.
This is totally off topic, but where does Evil Dead stand on this? Are they zombies or what are
I think
they?
they're more sorcery type zombie things.
No, they are zombies. The Evil Dead is probably my favorite movie of all time. Okay, the Evil Dead zombies didn't do the burns, but a lot of the classic zombie movies that we watched growing up didn't go burns.
Well,
so some of them did talk. And it's
well, if you remember, Night of the Living Dead, it wasn't actually zombies; they were ghouls.
well, yeah. So let me crack it open.
Yep.
Because I want to tell you about this game. So, like I said, it's 2001. It was written by, I'm just going to try and get the details of who wrote it, Todd and Kerry Brittenstein, okay? And this is the second edition of the game. So let me unbox this and show you what you get. So you get the rules, which quite literally are just
Is 2 pages?
a couple of pages. Because it is very simple. I'm going to try and explain it to you. I might make a couple of mistakes here and there, but hopefully you'll bear with me on that. So let me talk about what you get. This is your event cards, okay? So these are your event cards that basically you start the game with 3 of these, okay?
Okay.
Oh, you need to move that because they can't see that.
I'll just move that to
There you
So
go.
you're going to start the game with 3 of those event cards. The other thing that you have are game tiles, which makes the city or the town that the zombies are going to
This
overrun.
represents you exploring.
Yes. So what happens here is you have things like, this is just a normal street, so your zombies would be in these points here, 1, 2, 3. Here we have Mark's Sporting Store, okay, which is a building that they can be in, and this is in the building, that's in the building, that's in the building, that's in the building, that's in the building, and that's in the building. And on this, the important thing to note is this little series of numbers here. So if you draw this particular tile, you would place 6 zombies on it, 2 life on it, and these are your life counters here, these little hearts, and 2 bullets on it, and this is your bullet counters here, 4 bullets on it, and these are your bullets. So, some of the important things to pull out of this is your starting tile, and I'm sorry I'm having to dig through these.
Square.
Is the town square.
Helipad.
Right, so this is the starting tile here, the town square. This starts on the board. And then you have 6 of your heroes. So your heroes are these little guys in different colours that have their shotguns. And there's a number of different colours like reds and yellows and stuff like that.
So there's no confusion as to, oh, I'm that guy, you're that guy. No, I'm that guy,
No
you're that guy.
confusion at all. Just pull out one other thing that I need, right? You also then have 100 zombies.
Whoa,
And you get-
100?
Yep, you get 100 zombies in the box. You get these zombie chicks. Yeah, love zombie chicks. And these zombie dudes.
Okay.
Love me some zombie dudes as well. So in this instance, I'm going to take you through a kind of a turn.
Okay.
So the first thing you need to know is how you would win the game.
Do you explore the environment as you go then?
Yes. So it starts out with just 1 tile. Okay.
Yep.
The thing to remember.
Let's center that up so that way we can go any
Yep.
direction. There we go.
So there's 2 ways to win the game. One is you kill 25 zombies. Okay. Which is actually harder than you think. The second is you get to the helicopter, and there's the helicopter tile.
As you do in any good zombie
to the
movie.
chopper.
Any good zombie
Do it
movie,
now.
you get to the chopper. Now what happens is you basically take that chopper card and you put it in
At a random point.
at a random point in there.
Don't mind me. I'm just having a brain fart.
Okay.
Back to Amiga game. Remember that Amiga game with the zombies?
Yes.
And it scared the clean crap out of us.
Yes. we had a game on the Amiga that had zombies. We were in a mall, and it was a point-and-click game.
Yeah.
We loaded it up, and we couldn't get anything to do. There was this zombie walking around in front of the screen, sideways, back and forth. And we were going, but nothing's working, nothing's doing anything. And then we said, click on the zombie, do you see what happens? So we clicked on the zombie, and it just turned around and went, roar! And
Three fellas fell flat on our backs.
We fell off our chairs. It scared us so badly. So what I recommend with this card is that you take, say, 7 or 8 cards, okay, mix it in to those, okay?
All right, and make sure it's not the first tile.
Yes. And then put that on top of, say, 7 or 8 cards that are mixed, and then put 7 or 8 cards on top of that. That way, you can be absolutely sure that the helicopter is not going to be the first tile,
bottom.
so it's not going to come out at the very start of the game, and you can also be sure that it's not going to come out at the very end of the game, because either of those scenarios is not great, okay? So, what happens is you start with 3 of your hearts, 3 lives, we'll call them, and 3
shots
of your bullets, okay? So, your turn starts by you turn over a tile, okay, and then you basically just line up your tile with wherever you want to go. And in this instance, I have loaded up the Flowers by May, which is the florist shop, which has 3 zombies, 1 life, and 1 bullet. So I would put that there.
How did you pick that?
You just draw it from the top.
No, how did you pick the orientation of it?
You can put it whatever way you want.
Oh, okay.
Right,
So long as the road lines up with the road.
Right.
So it gets 3 zombies, and the zombies go into the building, okay, into the building. So they go in there like that. It gets 2 lives, and the lives will go like that,
When you
and
say
it gets 1 bullet.
When you say it, what do you mean it?
The tile.
The tile.
The tile, and they have to be in the actual building itself. So those 3 there are in the building. Now, you can't put more than 1 life on a square, and you can't put more than 1 bullet on a square. So it would look like that. Okay? You then roll to see how many squares you can move. So if I'm the blue guy, I'd roll, and I can move 3 squares.
You need to move back because we can't see that.
Okay, so I'm going to roll. I can move 2 squares, say. Okay? So in this instance, I would move 1, 2. Okay?
Yep.
And move forward. I don't have a zombie to fight. You have to be in the same square as a zombie to fight the zombie. And zombies are killed on a 4+. Okay?
Right.
So let's just say, I'll show you a combat with a zombie just so as you can see how it works. I'm in the square with the zombie. Either that zombie has been moved into the square by somebody else, because you get to move the zombies around, or I've moved into that square with the zombie. And to kill it, I need a 4+. So I roll,
Dead.
I got a 6, he's dead. If I got a 3, I have 2 options. Either I can lose a life and just stay where I'm at.
We can't see that.
Okay, sorry there. So I can either lose a life and stay where I'm at, or I can use a bullet to make that 3 into a 4.
All right, so each bullet you put into it increases it by 1?
Yes, in which case then I would kill that zombie. If I rolled a 2, I would need to use 2 bullets to make it a 4.
Got it.
And if I rolled a 1, I would have to use all 3.
But would you use all 3?
Probably not. If I rolled something as low as a 1, I would probably just use 1 life and hope that I roll better in my next turn. So, but anyway, that's not what happened. What happened was I just moved 2 after rolling the blue dice. As soon as I've done that, I then get to roll the red dice, and that shows me how many zombies I get to move. Okay?
6.
So I'd get to move 6. Obviously, there's only 3, so I would move those zombies forward. And a zombie can only move 1 square.
Right, I assume that simulates slow shambling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, that's the very basics of it. Then you have the event cards. And the event cards give you special things. Like here's one here called Alternate Food Source. No zombies attack players. No zombies attack, and players may not attack any zombies until the end of your next turn. Where that card might be useful is if you're making a dash for the helicopter, you would play that, And then the zombies can't actually attack you.
Yeah, they're busy nomming on something else.
And you can make your dash through to the helicopter. Another one, bad sense of direction. Play this card and discard 1 life to move target player back to town square. After this card is played, the current turn continues as normal. So
All the way back
somebody
to town
else,
square.
so if somebody else played that card as if they were going to make a dash to the
So this card.
yeah, so if somebody played that card there as if they were going to make a dash to the helicopter,
Yeah.
you could play that one, discard 1 life, and then move them all the way back to the town centre and just completely ruin
Yeah,
the
so
day.
in other words, the helicopter's there. Wait, how did I get back here?
And then we have this one, which is claustrophobia. The target player may not enter any building during their next turn. If in a building, the target player must use all movement to exit by the shortest route possible. So if, for example, somebody has went into the gun store and is going to try and pick up a pile of bullets and things like that, then you could play something like that and stop them from having to do it, and then they have to come straight out. So that's one that's a building, okay? If the next player draws one of these, okay, he puts that down anywhere.
Probably better to work away from you.
So if we put that there, okay, you then put 1 zombie per exit. So our zombies would go there, and there, and there, and there. And that's it. And that's how the zombies all build up. It's a fabulous little game. The only problem I have with it is towards the end, it can kind of drag on a little bit because these cards, these event cards,
Continuously screw you over?
yes, they can cause it to screw over, which can cause the game to drag on a little bit past the point where it's fun. Okay, so one of the rules that I have considered.
This your own homebrew we're talking about here.
Yes, one of the things that I've considered is whenever the deck is complete,
That's it.
the deck is complete. You don't shuffle it back in and start the deck again. So you get 1 playthrough of the deck, and when it's done, it's done. And if you're not out by that stage, all you're going to be left is you, your shotgun, and some zombies. And then when the other thing you could do is when the deck is complete, when you're dead, you're dead. Because if you die, say for example, I've been killing zombies, okay? So I have a collection of 7 zombies. I'm doing rather well, but I used up all my hearts, okay? And I have died. You don't die completely. You just go back to the town square and you lose half of your zombie kills.
Rounded up or rounded down?
Rounded up. So in this case, of my 7 zombies that I would have, I would lose 4 and I'd be left with 3. So you can see why that 25 zombie target
Is really difficult
It's
at times.
actually
Right,
quite
so you
difficult
don't
to get.
die in the game. Let me just recap that. You don't die. You
No.
just get shifted back. So there isn't a. Oh, that's a good command. That's a good mechanic because it means someone isn't sitting there with nothing to do because they've been killed.
Yeah, and if you're getting swamped by zombies,
You're gonna get killed.
you're going to get killed, but you're not getting knocked out of the game because you're completely swamped by zombies.
So remember, in our turns, we move our guys, and then with the blue dice, and then we roll the red dice to see how many zombies we move, so we get to screw each other over and stuff like that. It's not a cooperative game at all. It's like Munchkin, okay? So it is a game where you're basically all out for yourself, and you're trying to screw over the other players. It's hilarious. It is great. So just bear in mind, I just want to recap, there are a couple of house rules that I have put in place just because I feel that the game has the potential to drag on. And the house rules are, so as you don't think it's the actual rules, when the deck is done, it's done. And from the point of the deck being done, from that point on, when you die, you actually die.
Yeah.
Okay?
When does this
So-
game get most interesting? Was it number of players? I mean,
I've
is
played
it
it.
up to 4? Is it? Or,
No, it'll play up to, I believe, 6 players. So it's
It says there.
yeah,
yeah,
2 to
6 players. It plays really well. Obviously, the more players you have, the more banter and fun there is, and the more thinking there is to say, well, who am I going to screw over here? Because I can't screw everybody over because I've only got 3 cards at a time. And remember, as you use your cards, okay, at the beginning of your next turn, you can then draw.
Yeah, so you
more
have to
cards
decide,
take you up to
is it worth
3.
me burning through my hand and burning through the deck? Because if I don't, someone else might use it and burn through that deck.
So let me just clarify. At the start of my turn, I pick 3 cards out.
No,
Up to 3.
You at the very start, you'd have 3 cards.
Okay.
If you've spent those cards, you can then replace those cards.
Right.
You can only have 3 cards in your hand.
What would be the point in hold on to a card? You would hold on to a card if you think it's particularly good. And
Well, if
in
it's
the
that
later
one,
game? For example,
in the later
bad sense of direction.
go back
yes.
to the town square one.
Yeah, or the alternate food source is one that I would hold on to try and get me to the helicopter.
Is there more than one of those cards?
Yes, there is. So somebody else may have some of these cards as well. So it's not straightforward. It is a funny, interesting game.
Okay, that one's rough.
This is one of my favorites, actually, called We're Screwed. And it's place zombies on any 10 legal spaces where there are no zombies. And that's a cracking one to play on Justin. So
I may have to borrow this weekend because this weekend I'm off to London.
Yeah.
Because there's a zombie movie being filmed.
Right.
And I'm going to be one of the extras.
Are you going to be a zombie?
Yeah, I'm going to get done up as a zombie.
Oh, shake my hand.
No, so hang on. I want to go and do this, play a zombie, and play zombies.
So
as a zombie?
As a zombie.
Oh, please get me a photograph of
I will
that.
try and get you a photograph. I think there's rules about the set, but once we're done, if we get away with our makeup and stuff on, we'll go to a calf, sit down, playing zombies, as zombies, in a calf in London.
That I can't wait to see, definitely.
At 4 in the morning?
Yeah, 4 a.m. starts, 6-hour shoot. We're going to be running up Brentwood High Street.
Yeah.
As fast zombies, so you're not going to like that.
Oh, no, I don't mind fast zombies. I grew up with the slow and
actually, no,
zombies.
tell a lie, because there's 2 types in this movie.
Right, so you don't...
Because freshly turned ones are fast zombies, so they've still got all the musculature, all the strength. The older zombies that have decomposed, they become the slow zombies.
Oh, well, you'll probably look like one of them.
You're shooting this in Brentwood?
Yeah.
So not actually London?
Well, not
So it's the only way is zombies?
The only way is zombies! Very good.
I didn't realize it. It didn't twig. Oh my god. Crap.
Oh, God. These zombies are going to be the most healthy-looking zombies with their fake
Zombies
tongues.
with vajazzles chasing you up the street, Justin!
So, there you have it. That is Zombies. It is a great, brilliant, quick little game. That's my interpretation of the rules to try and give you. But, obviously, there's only a very small amount of rules in there. When you buy the game, you can look through it. If I've made a slight mistake here and there, I apologize. But it's pretty much as simple as I've made it up.
One question.
Yeah.
Did you have fun playing it with your rules?
With my rules.
Yes.
Well,
with the way you played it, the way you interpreted it, did you have fun?
Yes.
Then that's all that matters.
But I played it with the correct rules. It was after playing it a couple of times I came up with this additional option to try and speed it up, because we did end up with a couple of scenarios where it did start to drag on a little bit, and I thought to myself, that's a real shame for a great game like Talisman, for example.
Yeah, to have an infinite runtime.
It's a real shame for a game like that to kind of
drag.
So
the other thing you could do is have the limited resource of these. So whenever these run out, they've run out.
No. These, believe me, you will struggle to get the little counters anyway.
Okay.
You will struggle to get the little counters. If you're only playing a 2-player game, I would introduce a chest clock.
Okay.
Okay, and I would have it that's a nuclear strike. Okay.
You could just put down a bowl of nibbles, and when the nibbles are done,
yeah, the game is
over.
Yeah,
there's many ways to count down to when a game ends.
So, but I'm not finished, okay? The miniatures, the quality of the miniatures is all right. It's pretty much what you would come to expect from a board game, okay? However, we are connoisseurs of miniatures. So one of the things that I've always wanted to do, and I'm hoping to do it before Halloween, so as that we can all get together and have a great game of this, is introduce a few interesting miniature alternatives to make this game really, really come to life. So I'm going to show you some of the options that I've been looking at. So I'll set that to one side, and obviously the first thing I want to do is to talk about the actual survivors themselves, because all the survivors that come in the box are all the same shape and they're all blokes. Okay, we could have the opportunity to play with these. These are the Apocalypse survivors from War Games Factory, and there's a big guy there with a beard who may as well be me, to be honest. But I really love this guy here because he looks like a priest with a gun.
Actually, that's Kay from Men in Black.
Oh, it is Kay from Men in Black, you're right. And there's a guy here with a baseball bat.
Sounds of that.
And a guy here with a chainsaw. And a guy with what looks like, I don't know, is that
That's
a crowbar?
Molotov and a crowbar.
So you have those options. If we get some of the ladies to play, like Andrea, Nat, or Anna, then we have these options here, which are female zombie survivors.
No, hang on. Long hair, we give that to Sam.
Yeah, Sam could play, but that's not right. We'll get Sam a wee tiny zombie survivor.
Well, there is a small child zombie in both sets.
Okay, that'll do. So here we have a whole selection of female female survivors.
What's this one? This one looks kick-ass with the rocket launcher.
This one here, yes.
Big Bertha.
Big Bertha. Great models. These are really good models. I'm not sure if we've got these through the unboxings yet. We have some of these to go out in the unboxing, so I'm not going to open them up.
We've done the men. We haven't done the women yet.
You've got to see them.
So you've done the men, Justin, yeah?
Oh, crap.
But not
Okay, let's talk about the actual zombies themselves, okay?
Open mouth, insert foot.
First option we have is for the female zombies. We could swap them out with this. This is the zombie vixens, again from War Games Factory, and you get a whole selection of female zombies on the back. Now just imagine whenever they're all painted up and on the board, just how much more interesting it's going to look than just having the two types of zombie.
Yeah.
And then there's other zombies that I really want to show you guys, and that's from this collection here. This is called the Z-Clips zombies. So they come in this kind of VHS case.
And they had to do something with them.
This one here is called the Zombie Mob Part 2. And here we have the zombie chicken. So it's a zombie guy in a chicken suit, a zombie holding on to a parking meter, and just some fantastically sculpted zombies. They're absolutely great. I'll let you guys get a look at them. Over here we have the Tiny Terror zombies. So, and these are zombie kids.
That's actually really cool.
So that's the zombie kids in there, and I think they'll be fabulous to add to just some difference to the game.
Yeah.
And then finally, I have Zombie Mob Part 6. So there's a whole pile of these zombie mobs. This one's great. It's the cast of Scrubs.
What? No way.
It is the cast of Scrubs.
The hell?
So it's just fantastic.
Okay, that's
whenever
really
you
cool.
get to, whenever you draw the hospital tile, you have to pick these guys up.
That's a good idea.
They're a really good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just totally
you got the
enamored
kids
by
in
it.
school as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you have this guy at the mall, because he's obviously passing out a bit of free chicken before he's got bitten.
Yep.
You know, and then them at the hospital. That's really cool. Really good idea.
So, for a game of the weekend, it comes highly, highly recommended. It's dead easy for your friends to learn, which is one of the key things for me with board games, because we play some complex board games.
Oh, yeah.
Board games that that non-board gamers, you know, and we don't all, not all our friends,
family board gamers,
not all
would look at it and be intimidated. Yeah,
are going to be able to be able to get into it. But little games like this, game like Formula D, they're simple enough. They're easy to pick up.
Light, easy, low barrier to entry games.
Yeah.
Well, you basically lay it out and you start playing.
Exactly.
And you just explain to the new people as you go.
Yeah.
And if you started it now, there's no reason why over the course of the 6 weeks between now, 7 weeks between now and Halloween, that you couldn't pick up.
How excited he's thinking about Halloween. He's even counting down the weeks.
Yeah, I know.
No, I used to work with a fella. He would count down the lunch breaks to Christmas Day.
Warren should have been born in the US of A for Halloween.
Yes.
Because I love it over there.
I honestly do think sometimes that my ultimate destination in life will probably be in the United States of America, because I think they get me. Because I certainly get them. Because what they do for Halloween, that's exactly the cheap I hang from my house for Halloween. I have skeletons bursting out of the front garden. I have stuff hung up all over the walls.
Yeah, you and the sister have a great competition.
Our sister Hannah gets so into it as well. I'm excited about it, and I'm looking forward to doing this as a project so that we can all get together around Halloween and play through this and just drink beer, eat frankfurters with little bits of radish on the end so they look like fingers, and just and gooey eyeballs and stuff like that there, and just have the best
a laugh,
crack.
yeah.
Just have the best
and if
crack.
you're making a pumpkin, if you carve out the mouth and keep the innards, you can have that spilling out the mouth and it looks like a...
It looks like pumpkin vomit. Yeah. Yes, yeah. We'll get a picture of that up.
I'll see if I can hunt it down and make no promises.
Well, anyway, guys, look, for Game of the Weekend, it's one of my favorites. It's not one I would play all year round. It's one that
but it's light, easy, and it's a laugh.
Yeah, and your friends will love it. They'll have a great crack with that game. And I advise you, play it a couple of times with the rules as they've got it, and then you may run into the same issue I've had, and then you can try either my little suggestions or some suggestions of your own. So, gents,
I think that wraps it.
I think that about wraps it up. We're going to move now to XLBS. Please, please, please consider joining Backstage, where you can come on to XLBS, where we're going to be talking about, well,
a lot more stuff.
A lot more stuff.
Nice and nebulous.
Backstage, if you're not aware, is the kind of the little subscription service that BC4 have, where you can, for three quid odd, the price of a coffee and a muffin back home in a cheap place, it helps us do what we're doing.
It keeps the lights ticking.
It keeps the lights ticking. It keeps the machine switched on.
Keeps me from wasting away.
It keeps him from wasting away any more than he already
Obviously, we don't have enough then, do we?
We need more Backstage.
No. Whenever I went home, I was told I dropped weight. I didn't think I had any to lose.
Yeah, well, if you consider joining, we'd very much appreciate that. It just keeps the whole thing running. Other than that, guys, have a fantastic weekend, and thanks for watching. And we will see you next week.